Yeah, I forgot to zoom in.
And we're live, by the way.
Hey, all right. Switching over windows. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Hump Day Hangouts. This is episode 164. It is 2 days past Christmas, and we are going strong. So I got my beanie on. I'm trying not to freeze to death, but I'm also wanted to model the new Semantic Mastery shirts that literally just came in. So I think we're going to have a little giveaway cooked up here in a minute for you, but we'll get back to that after we say hi to everybody real quick. So starting on the left, well, he just disappeared. So we're not going to say hi to Chris. We're going to go to Hernan. How's it going, man?
Hey, guys. Hey, everyone. I hope you had a really good Christmas, happy holidays, and really excited to be here.
Awesome. Marco, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I hope everyone had wonderful holidays. For those who don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a wonderful time anyway, or just as well, however you want to take it. I mean it in the best way. And by the way, it's warm and sunny in Costa Rica, and I'm loving the weather.
Outstanding. I'll have to post a picture. I just came back from the mountains. We got like 4 feet of snow in the last 48 hours. It was nuts. So, but lots of fun. So anyways, yeah. Bradley, how you doing?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. You know, I had a kind of a quiet Christmas because my daughter's with her mother this year. We alternate holidays, so it's not a big deal. I had her last Christmas, and I'll have her for New Year's, but it was rather quiet. I ended up working. I worked on Christmas Eve for like 5 or 6 hours, and then I worked on Christmas Day for like 4 hours. Got caught up on some stuff, though, but not near as much as I had hoped to. So this week is uber crazy for me, trying to get a shit ton of stuff done. So, but, you know, preparing for 2018, we've got a lot coming up in 2018, especially for the well, for just all of our companies, to be honest with you, but MasterMind especially. So that's really what I'm trying to do, is race to get prepared to start all that stuff. So, but glad to be here. We got only an hour today instead of the 2-hour marathon we had last week, and I'm looking forward to answering some questions.
Well, cool. Good deal. Like, Chris, hop back on. So Chris, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Glad to be here as well, like everybody else. And I'm back in Vienna for like 2 weeks, and then it's back to the slopes.
Awesome. Sounds good. Real quick, I wanted to say too, if you waited to try out the MasterMind, the $1 trial we had going on, there was a $1 7-day trial, and on top of that, you get to talk to one of the co-founders of Semantic Mastery, have a 30-minute consulting session. That is gone. So sorry about that if you didn't make it, but that was up for almost a week, and so we ran out. All the spots have been filled. So that we might do it again in the future. This was just something that we wanted to do over the holidays and see how it works out for people, and give you some one-on-one time. So I guess stay tuned is the best we can say for now. And then we're looking forward to working with the new MasterMind members, like Bradley said, with all the stuff coming up in 2018.
Yeah, if I may add, I just wanted to thank you guys for the whole for the amazing response that we had. It was amazing. Like, and we have been having for the past week, like with Christmas and everything in between, right? And with the upcoming New Year, but we have been managing to have amazing conversations with people, and I'm really looking forward to working with all of you guys on the mastermind. I think that was one of the best. I think that we had a great response, honestly, and we had to cut it short because otherwise we would be, overflowing with calls and whatnot. But I think that we have been having amazing conversations, and I personally have been, and I know Bradley too. And it just proves the point of the quality of people that's getting into the mastermind, which is mind blowing. They're super talented people that are moving forward super quick. So I'm really pumped actually for what's coming on 2018 for the mastermind. So
awesome.
Yeah,
good deal.
I'm sorry, real quick, Adam. However, some of you guys I've reached out to on multiple occasions now to schedule your 30-minute call, and have not received a reply. And after I've sent out 2 or 3 emails, I'm done. I don't do it anymore. So either check your email box if you signed up for the mastermind trial. Check your email, because I have been emailing people trying to get set up, and I've had multiple calls that have been really good. I just got off one literally 15 minutes ago with Kelly, which, by the way, Kelly, if you're watching, it was a great call. I really appreciated your time today. But that said, I've had some really good calls, and as Hernan said, it's interesting to hear some of the very unique business models that some of you guys have, and I'm anxious to hear how you apply what we teach, if you stay in the mastermind, to your own businesses, and whether it was effective or not, and if so, how. You know what I mean? Because I think that's really interesting. It can make us better as teachers, as instructors, or whatever, mentors, I guess you can call us, if we know how to apply our methods to all different types of business models instead of really just the standard or typical business models that we normally are exposed to in this industry. So anyways, I just wanted to say some of the calls I've had have been amazing. Some of you guys have been ignoring my emails, or maybe they're going to spam or something, but go check it, because after I've, if I've sent out 2 or 3, I'm not going to send out another. All right. So Adam, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Just wanted to say before I hand things over to Marco, he's got some information we definitely want to share with people, and we talked about it last week. But I do want to I know we got new people watching every week, so just want to say, if you're new to Semantic Mastery, check out the battle plan, the SEO blueprint. I'm going to pop a link on the page. We've got a coupon code for you, so you can grab that dirt cheap with some killer information in there. If you haven't yet, go to SerpSpace.com and sign up. Get your free account there for done for you services. Got some free tools as well. And then the support.semanticmastery.com is a very important place where we put questions we get asked a lot. So we love it if you ask questions on here, even if it's a repeat, that's fine. We're going to answer it. But if you don't want to wait and you're not sure if maybe it's been asked before, you can go to support.semanticmastery.com, check it out. And we got a database full of answers that we pop in there that are maybe lengthy or that come up a lot. And we have charts or diagrams and things like that to help you. So Marco, if you want to fill people in a little bit, I know we posted about what we're doing and what you've been working and setting up, and we talked about it, but do you want to fill people in again just in case they haven't heard?
Yeah, I posted in Facebook on, if you go to my page, Marco Benavides Unfiltered, the post is there and the link is there, but basically it's just simply our initiative, right? We were calling it subs, and it supplies uniforms and books for kids. For every $50 that's donated, one kid gets to go to school for the entire 2018 school year with full supplies, books, uniforms, and everything that they need. We're not asking everyone to donate $100, right? We're asking you to donate whatever you can. Now, I know Semantic Mastery has pledged $1,000. One of our partners has already donated $1,000. I'm matching the $1,000 donation. So our goal is 10K. I'm hoping we beat the 10K so that we can send 100 kids. If we go over $1,000, whatever it needs to take us to 15, I will make it up. If we exceed 15, whatever it needs to take it up to 20, I will make up the difference. I don't mind. I love giving to these causes. I'm gonna pop in the link so that people can go and watch the video and decide whether they want to donate. It's a great cause. We're making sure that over 90 cents of every dollar goes to the children. Of course, we have to pay fees and a whole bunch of other things, but anything that's left after fees or whatever, which is over 90 cents of every dollar, it goes to kids. It doesn't go to anybody else, because we have a ton of volunteers that are doing the work, and they're doing it for free. They're just giving their time. So go, watch the video, because it explains it in more detail what it's all about and why we decided to do it. I'm gonna pop in the link at the top for people who want to go. By the way, anyone donating $1,000 will get. I've changed. I was gonna give them an hour of my time. I'm gonna give them 2 hours of my time. Anybody that donates $1,000 that matches Semantic Mastery, what we're pledging, will get 2 hours of my time, and we can discuss whatever it is that you want, whatever problems you're having. You're going to get my consultation call for your donation. And should you decide to donate $5,000, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 10 hours of my time, and we're going to take one of your projects from start to finish. We're going to rank it. We're going to get everything going so that you can go ahead and whether it's a client that you just need to rank and you haven't been able to, or some project it is that you've been meaning to get off the ground but haven't been able to, whatever it is, I will give you 10 hours of my time. We'll schedule it, and anyone who has done consultation with me will tell you whether it's worth it or not. If any of you guys listening who have gotten consultation from me, please chime in and let everyone know whether it's worth it or not. And so it all goes to charity. So I don't mind giving my time if you guys are willing to give to this cause. So there you go.
Awesome. That's awesome, Marco. Man,
Sweet.
Yeah, nothing to say on top of that. That's a hell of a deal, Andrew. Giving it.
How do you follow that? You know.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, if you're giving, if you want to give, or you know someone, please help us. You know, if you can share it, pop it on, you know, Facebook or Twitter, or whatever your preferred method is. Where, like Marco said, this is truly something where, you know, the vast majority of this is going directly to the kids. There's not a lot of overhead, and we'd like to, you know, really generate as much generate as much revenue for the charity as we can to really get this going. So please help us share the word if you can.
Yeah, and just so you know, the page, I removed all the cookies, all tracking. No one's being tracked. No one's gonna get chased all over the web with the page. No, everything is taken out. So you go there, you watch the video, and you're not gonna get followed throughout the web. So make sure that if you decide to share it, that everyone knows what's going on, right? Please spread the word, get people to donate, and you know, these kids need it, and they need it. I mean, I can't say any more than that. They need it.
Cool. Sounds good. All right, you guys ready to get started? Does anybody else have anything we need to go over?
Last thing, go to bradleybenner.com and subscribe. I haven't done any videos in like 2 weeks, but I've got like 5 videos for the YouTube channel for the Mindset Mastery series that I need to record. I've got like multiple topics that I'm ready, like I want to record videos on. I just haven't had the time. But I have been doing my daily emails every day, guys. So the email list, like I think I've got like 32 emails in there now, Monday through Friday, except on holidays, obviously. But I've been writing a new email every day. And it's just kind of stuff that I have been studying and learning. And it's a way to really solidify. It's like journaling. I'm journaling, but in email format so that it can benefit others besides just me. And some of you may not find it beneficial at all, but some of you may. And I've gotten some really, really good comments from some people. And in fact, since the last week when we did the Hump Day Hangout, I've had like 30 new subscribers, which is pretty good because, again, the only place that this is being presented is on basically Hump Day Hangouts when I announce it here, guys. So it's, I'm not like driving traffic to an offer or anything like that. So anyways, I would encourage you to go check it out. I'm putting a lot of work into it, guys. It's just something that I'm doing for, it's free. It's not going to cost you anything. It's just because I want to do it and it's helping me. So, and I hope that it can help some of you. So go check it out, bradleybenner.com, subscribe. If you don't like the emails, just unsubscribe. That's it. All right. All right. With that said, I'm going to grab the screen, guys, and we'll get right into it.
Sounds good.
All right. Marco, yep, there's the link, by the way. I think you posted it again, right? So we got it on here twice. Okay, cool.
I forgot I had posted it at the beginning.
All right, so Shigbaga, I'm so sorry, dude. One of these days I'm gonna have to like talk to you so you can help me learn how to pronounce your name. Hey guys, I have potential. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We had we had a really good conversation with Shibga the other day. I think it was last week. Yeah, and yeah, we had a really, really good conversation about it. Awesome. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Hey guys, I potentially come across my first big account. Sweet. I'm going to +1 that. A prospect wants SEO for approximately 25 websites, which he wants to rank in the 3-pack for various cities, 155-mile radius around him. I sat down with a guy this morning, and getting addresses for mail verifications is not a problem for him. The options I presented to him are 1, a large website with 25 subdomains, or 2, separate WordPress websites. I'm leaning towards number 2 because I'm a little afraid of future changes that could take down such a large account, but what are your thoughts? Thank you. No, I would absolutely go with subdomains. Shibga, I would do that specifically because, look, I don't work for Google. None of us do. And so we really can't predict the future. But for Google to come in and like penalize, now see, like if you got your root domain penalized, it would absolutely affect the 25 subdomains. But if you got, well, like an individual subdomain penalized, then it wouldn't affect the others. The problem with 25 separate websites is, in my opinion, is none of them are going to benefit from each other. Does that make sense? I mean, there are some ways that you can hack in some benefits. I know I've got several lead gen stuff that I've got, some of them with 15, like roughly 15 locations. And I know you're not supposed to do this, but I've done it and it works. And that's to link kind of like at random from one location site to another. And I'm just using footer links, guys. I know this, people say don't use site links and footer links and that kind of stuff, but I've done it and it works. At least it's worked on some of the projects that I've done. And I always do on subdomains. So, I mean, you can accomplish the same thing with doing separate WordPress websites, but the benefit of using subdomains is that you're building the overall authority of the root domain with each subsequent subdomain that you add, right? So each additional subdomain or location that you add, you're going to end up building. You don't necessarily need a separate syndication network for each, but you are going to have separate citations for each. You are going to have separate Google My Business verified listings for each. You are going to have, you know, potentially separate Google Drive stacks, or at least, you know, specific folders for each location, right? Likely you're going to be doing separate press releases for each location. So my point is that by doing all that work to each individual location / subdomain site, right, you're going to end up building the overall authority of the root domain, which means that each new location that you add is going to instantly be given a boost because it's basically, you know, benefiting from all the authority of the root domain. And you're going to get better results a lot quicker. And the more that you add, the more that the more authority that accumulates. It's a cumulative effect that really starts to occur. And I found that to be the case with a lot of the lead gen stuff that I've done where I've got multiple locations. The more and more sites I add, the easier it is to rank the sites. And so again, I would recommend that you go with the subdomain route. The idea here is to keep your root domain incredibly clean. So don't use your root domain for anything spammy at all. You could use the root for the blog, and you just make sure that you're just doing like the best practices that we teach, which would be like a branded syndication network for the root. You can do all of your blogging from the root domain and actually blog to your 25 subdomains from the root. That's something else I would recommend doing. When you have multiple locations like that, all under one brand, if you have separate subdomains, I don't recommend doing separate blogs and separate syndication networks for each location unless it's required. And what I mean by that is, what I try to do is do all of my blogging from the root. For, you know, even if I got 10 subdomain sites, I don't care. I try to do all of my blogging from the root domain and use the root domain RSS feed as my trigger point for the branded syndication network. And it's just one syndication network. Then what I do is over you know, the course of a few months, as I am continuously publishing content to the blog, I start tracking the results of the individual location sites. Some sites are going to respond really well to the blog. Other sites, obviously in more competitive areas, or where the competition is higher, they're not going to respond quite as well from using the blog on the root like that. So in those cases, then it makes sense to create a branded location-specific network for that specific site, and then blogging directly from that location site to that location-specific syndication network. Because then you get a little bit of the benefit from the root domain blogging about that location, as well as its own individual or specific location syndication network, so that you end up with basically, you can power it up from 2 different locations, and that seems to be really, really effective. And so just keep that in mind, guys. One of the things that you could do, Shibga, I'm sorry, that's difficult for me to pronounce, but is on your root domain is you create categories for each one of your location sites, right? And so that when you're blogging from your root domain, you just place the posts in the appropriate category, which is essentially the location category, right? And so you can build up a ton of relevance that way, and it makes your root domain incredibly strong. And so whenever you add a new subdomain or new location, it's going to instantly benefit from all of that accumulated authority. So that's my take on it, but I'd like to hear the opinions of some of you guys. What do you think?
Yeah, he's in RYS Academy, and he's RYS Reloaded, and he's a really active member. So just post in there, because I have something that really kills for something like this, especially if you're going to have the 25 subdomains and you're going to have separate maps for each one, or separate GMBs. I mean, you could totally just crush this, and your competition won't even know what happened. I mean, just totally 3-pack and organic and 3-pack, just whatever. It's going to be a mix, and it's going to be a big happy ranking party. Contact me in RYS Reloaded. If you don't want to give away your niche or URL, then you can just give me a private message, because all my guys in RYS Reloaded, they get a half hour with me whenever they feel that they're ready for it, and so this would be the perfect time for you to take advantage of your half-hour Shibga.
Yep.
Real quick too, I forgot one thing when we were doing announcements. Best question today is going to get a free T-shirt. So that's the thing today. So the last chance to get a T-shirt in 2017. So we'll ship one of these to you for free. So I don't know, Marco, can you pick the best question today, and we'll announce it at the end?
Sounds good.
All right, cool.
Cool. Great question, by the way. Andy's up. He says, hey, BB and team, question on press release stack technique. You mentioned in your video that to identify the PR that will not be purged after 180 days. Can you explain a bit in detail how we can determine which PR will not be purged? Yeah, Andy, as far as I know, it's just a manual process of we have our distribution site list. And I had one of my VAs go through and identify all the locations of each one of those distribution sites. Like, in other words, where the site is located physically, at least as far as the company address, right? Their corporate address. And I did that specifically just so I could identify the local pickups whenever I do press releases for, lead gen or local clients. I could try to identify, just go look at the list and say, okay, they're located in this city. What's the closest website, basically news affiliate site to this location? And I talk about this a lot, but one of the distribution points in our SerpSpace press release services is NBC12, which NBC12 is the Richmond, Virginia affiliate, NBC affiliate. And Richmond is the capital of the state of Virginia. And so, the vast majority of my clients and my lead gen properties are all based in Virginia. And so when I do press releases submitted through our standard press release service, not the press release plus service, but the standard press release service, NBC 12 being one of the distribution points, that ends up ranking really, really well because, and again, it makes sense because it's the Richmond, Virginia NBC affiliate. And that's the capital of Virginia. So it makes sense that those PRs rank really, really well. Now, as far as purging, I know what I said. It's going to vary depending on site, Andy. It's not always 180 days. In fact, that NBC 12 site I was just talking about is more like 60 days, which sucks because it's a great pickup and it works really well to rank, especially for Virginia terms. But within 60 days, it's purged. And I found out the hard way. In fact, I mentioned this, I think, I don't know if I talked about it on Hump Day Hangouts or what, but the press release method, now that I've been doing that for 5 or 6 months, and I've tested it across multiple properties, several different industries, and I've been able to achieve results damn near every time using the same method. But what happened was recently, within like the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've noticed a lot of the stuff that I had started doing this method with had started to slip in, like the maps pack. Their maps ranking started to slip. And so I started going back and researching, and that is exactly what happened, is a lot of these PRs now that were originally published that were all part of a stack have now been purged. And so the short answer is, I don't know. Each platform is going to be different. Like NBC 12 is, I think, 60 days. Digital Journal, I think that stays published, but I'm not 100% sure. But here's the workaround without having to go try to figure all that stuff out, which would be an enormous amount of work, number one. Number two, it would require you to, have to go back in as part of the PR stacks and swap out target URLs, right? I talked about using a redirect in your press releases when you're doing a stack. So when you're linking from one press release to another, use a redirect URL in the press release. Instead of linking directly to the press release that you're trying to boost, use a redirect URL, a domain that you have control over. Just use the Pretty Links plugin, guys, or any sort of 301 redirect plugin. It doesn't matter. But create a redirect. That way, if the original PR that you're trying to boost ends up being purged, you can just swap the destination out in PR number 2 or any of them further down in the stack, further down line in the stack, if that makes sense, so that you can still recapture that juice, that link equity that's flowing through that PR. That's number one way to do it. But keep in mind, that's still an enormous amount of work because you still have to go, especially if you're doing like 5, 6 PRs in a row, you've got to try to keep track of all that stuff. And that's what I was doing. And I found that has become too cumbersome. If you're just doing it for 1 or 2 projects, it's fine. But when you start to do this across multiple projects, then you end up, it becomes a management nightmare. And I found that to be the case over the last several, since I've been doing much of this over the last few months. So the workaround, Andy, this is what I found to be the best. For instance, one of the sites that we, I'm going to be honest, our distribution network for our press release service is Press Advantage. We use the Press Advantage distribution network as part of SerpSpace. And I love it. It's great. It only syndicates to between 200 to 250 sites. Okay, so it's on the lower end of number of pickups. However, the Press Advantage domain is really, really strong, and the press releases that get published when it gets pushed through that distribution network, you get one of them is published on the Press Advantage domain. That domain is a powerful domain. Those don't purge, and the press releases are formatted really, really nice. They look nice, as opposed to most of the other like news affiliate sites. The press releases look like garbage. They look shitty. There's a ton of ads on them. The pages load slow. Plus like all that other crap, and then they purge, which sucks because you end up doing work that you lose a few weeks a few months down the road. So my point is, what I've been doing, and it's funny, but one of our, Mohammed, who's got a question coming up here, he's been active every single week. I had a phone chat with him because he took us up on the $1 trial, and anyways, in the Facebook group, he asked about that specifically, and we just had a nice long thread about it. And I recommended to him the same thing. Like for what I'm doing, Andy, for all of my first PRs, the tier 1 press release that like really is the start of the stack, the stack heading, so to speak. I'm using the Press Advantage distribution network for that, and then I go get the Press Advantage, the press release published on that domain, and use that as my target URL as the stack. Does that make sense? It's very, very powerful, and it doesn't purge, and it looks nice, which means visitors are more likely to convert from that page than they are from one of those crappy looking press releases on the news affiliate sites. So I know that was a long-winded answer, but it's a great question. And that's something that, like I said, you guys, I've been real transparent about. This is a method that I've been kind of testing and developing over the last several months. And it's just an experiment. Just like everything we do, we experiment and then try to share the results. And so I've found that although effective doing the stack method, unless you know which PRs don't purge and you use those as your stack points, then you end up creating a lot of additional work down the road. And I don't like rework, guys. I like to try to be efficient. I like to set shit up one time and benefit from it for months or years to come. Does that make sense? So the short answer, after giving you that real long answer, is I recommend that you identify some of the distribution sites that don't purge, particularly ones that look good, like I mentioned, the SerpSpace, not the press release plus service, but the first one, press releases. We use the Press Advantage distribution network. It's very powerful for exactly the reasons that I just mentioned. And then what I'll do is start using like the Press Release Plus service, which syndicates to 450 sites, has the maps embeds and the video embeds. I use that as part of the stack. Like, so downline. And then I'm also using Press Cable. I'm using Press Cable quite a bit, to be honest with you. So all of those are really good distribution services, but you just got to select which ones you're going to use as your stack points so that you don't create a shit ton of work down the road. Great question though, Andy. I'm going to +1 that. By the way, the video email course that I talked about last week, guys, I think we're going to try to get that ready and out to our list. We're not doing like some big super launch. It's probably just going to be an internal thing to all you guys that are subscribed, and we're going to try to get that done by the end of January, I hope. And then I think I'm going to probably do the press release course, have that available sometime in February. So just keep that in mind, guys. I appreciate you guys. Andy, you got going out and trying to figure all this stuff out on your own. That's awesome. I love the initiative. You're ambitious. That's great. Keep it up, man. That's how we learn how to do shit. Exactly what you're doing, just testing. Okay. All right, next question from Andy again. He said, just received notification from SerpSpace that my PR went live, went to check and realized that the email and brand name has some typo. Yeah, you need to check on that when you submit the data. That's really critical. What can I do to rectify this? Should I order a new PR to cover the typo? Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, what's already been distributed, you can't do anything about. You can change, you can add it, you can create it, publish a new press release, but you have done, let's see, the brand name has a typo. Yeah, see, that's basically an NAP error now, right? And so that can actually cause a little bit of issues, but there's not really anything you can do about it now that it's been distributed. unfortunately. That's one of the problems with press releases. It's not really a problem. You just have to be aware of that ahead of time. You got to check, double check, and triple check before approving a press release. Or when you go to submit your data via the order form, just always double check and triple check before hitting the submission button to make sure that everything's spelled correctly. You don't have any punctuation or spelling errors or anything like that, because that can affect NAP, right? Okay, also checked with Google News and cannot find any of the PR. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Like, for example, I just went through that diatribe about Press Advantage. That is not it's not a Google News site. Like, in other words, that domain does not get indexed in Google News, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. I still use that as the starting point for stacks now because it remains published, and it's a powerful domain, and it ends up ranking really well too. So even though it's not in Google News, don't worry about it. I mean, remember, for the method, for my use of press releases, I'm not really looking to target people that are searching Google News. I'm looking to target people that are searching universal Google search, right? Just standard google.com search. And so I don't really care whether it's in, I know originally when I started this method, one of the things I mentioned was always start the stack with one that is in Google News, but I've since changed that. My opinion has changed. That's not necessary. Okay. Another good question though, Andy. David's up. He says, I may not make it to Hump Day Hangouts, but hopefully you'll answer the following. Are there indications that Google search doesn't or won't return page one results for certain keywords niches? In particular, well, there's always a page one result for certain keywords. I mean, it doesn't start on page two, so I'm not sure what you mean. In particular, is there any reason an optimized... Oh, you must be talking specifically about a video. Okay. In particular, is there any reason an optimized branded remodeling contractor video wouldn't lead to high SERPs? Based on cursory research, I don't see videos ranking for major U.S. cities using common niche-related keywords. If the company's brand name, right, the company name is like a keyword, which happens, guys, right? I mean, when I first started doing lead gen stuff years ago, I would create all my pseudo, right, my pseudo businesses, and I'm doing air quotes, as like the most obvious name, period, right? Like, like I'll just say tree service or Culpeper tree service, right? I'll say that. Like, I live in Culpeper, so I call Culpeper or Culpeper plumbers. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. And so if that's the brand name, then yeah, because basically your brand name is a keyword search, that means it's likely going to be difficult to rank. Especially like in major metropolitan areas, guys, like broad type keywords are difficult to rank videos for and higher where there's a lot of competition. Now, but a brand name search, if you're optimizing the video for the brand name of the company and it's not some generic like keyword type brand name, then it should rank well. Again, it should rank well. But you're talking about a YouTube video, and so as far as I found that when you optimize for the brand name of a company, you can typically rank for that, unless, of course, your brand name is essentially a keyword, in which case then you're going to have trouble. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if does anybody else have another explanation for that?
No, it makes perfect sense. Google filters certain niches. I mean, we did a test for payday loan, and we ranked the video on the first page, and it disappeared within 30 seconds. That's how quick the filter is on that, the algorithm. That's how quickly it gets removed from search results. So although it got to the first page, it immediately disappeared. It was filtered out. There are some niches that you cannot get a video ranked, period.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had, we talked about, again, one of our members, I'm not going to mention who it is, but one of our members, was talking about doing realtor marketing stuff, real estate marketing. And I did that for, I don't know, 6 months or so. I targeted a bunch of realtors here in Virginia, and I started doing marketing for them. And I found that to be incredibly difficult to rank videos for keywords like real estate videos. Like that's what I started with, was trying to rank videos. And then I eventually switched to doing, more traditional website stuff, because the videos, no matter, I mean, I would hit it like, I would basically nuke it with everything we had, and I would be able to get the video to rank on page one for the keyword, for my desired keyword. It would last like a day or two, and it would always bounce back to page two. And I could it's like Google was just, As soon as it got to page 1, it might last 24 hours, and then it would always push back to position 11 or 12. So it was always going back to page 2, and that's when I realized that there are keywords out there that Google just won't show video for. And I think it was Derek Pierce that did a training a long time ago about this, and it made a lot of sense. And I don't know if this is valid, but I trust him. So I think that it probably is. But if you do like a search query, like let's just say plumber Culpeper, you guys are seeing my full screen, correct? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so if you do a search for a keyword, guys, and you look up here, the vertical search buttons, if you see a video tab up here, granted the video tab is under the more tab here, but if you do a search and you see the video tab not in the drop down, but actually over here, it's my understanding, and I've seen that I've experienced that to be the case most of the time. If there's a video tab instead of in the drop down, then it's likely that a video can rank for that search query on page 1. But if the video tab is in the drop down, then it's likely that it's going to be much more difficult to rank a video on page 1 for that specific query. Does that make sense? Now, I haven't confirmed whether that's 100% of the time, like that's a law, or if that's just, something that's been more coincidental. But I've noticed that a lot. That's something that I do when I'm looking to see if I can rank a video for a particular keyword. Obviously, I use a ton of testing tools now, like LiveRank Sniper or something like that. But one of the things I always do is take a look, just do a quick manual search and look. And if it has video tab up here, then I think there's a greater chance. Again, I don't have any data to back it up, guys, other than just from what I've experienced. Does that make sense? So anyways, good question again, David. Mohammed's up. What's up, buddy? I enjoyed our call last week. Hey guys, do you charge more for a client to get local exclusivity? Yes. Well, I don't charge more, except that, because that's, in other words, I don't sell leads to more than one contractor, period. So it's not that yes, I charge more. If I was to sell leads to multiple, like the same lead to say 3 different contractors, then I would absolutely charge less. But I always, like, part of my pitch is that I provide exclusivity of leads. Does that make sense? So like I don't ever resell the same lead. We do tangent market stuff. I've got a roofing client that I set up all his lead gen stuff for him. I should have never done that. I should have done it, kept it for myself. But whenever he gets roofing, he gets a shit ton of leads, by the way. And so whenever he gets roofing leads, roof repair leads, that's what he's a roof repair contractor. What the hell was that?
Sorry, what's my doorbell?
Whenever he gets roof repair leads, he ends up taking that lead and sells it to drywall and painting contractors. He sells it to carpet cleaners, and he sells it to water damage restoration companies. And so he ends up taking the lead that he gets for roof repair, which is what he does, and he ends up monetizing that lead to tangent markets, right? Which are markets that are related but aren't in direct competition with him. And it makes total sense, because if somebody's roof leaks, it's going to ruin their ceiling, it's going to ruin their floor, and they're probably going to have water damage that needs to be repaired. So it's just a great way to make a lot of money from additional, but again, it's exclusivity of leads. So I don't charge more for that, but that's only because I don't sell leads. I don't sell leads to more than one contractor, if that makes sense.
Right.
Looking at that from, sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead, Marco. Go ahead.
Okay. Looking at that just from another point of view, if you're going to rank someone, say on Maps, right? And you take 3 clients, well, there's only one #1 spot on the map. Now you're in an ethical bind, because
yes.
Whom do you choose to rank #1? If you're that good, who goes #2 and who goes #3? Who are you going to? It puts you in a place where you have to compete against yourself, and you have to have them compete against one another, and they're all paying you for the same thing. To me, that's totally unethical.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with Marco. I love the vertical approach that you mentioned, Bradley. I think that's genius, and that's actually how you grew, a 6-figure to a 7-figure to an 8-figure business. That's how you actually do it, by developing additional verticals. Now, with that said, I think that exclusivity needs to be paid, right? Like, for example, if you're charging more per lead, let's say that you own these spots, right? You're not ranking clients, but you're actually doing lead gen, I would say that, hey, you want these leads exclusively for you, you need to pay a little bit more because they're exclusive. Otherwise, I just, or you can say, okay, I will sell them to 3 other contractors, is first come, first serve. You know what I'm saying? So I think that exclusivity needs to be, even if you're not doing that, needs to be something that needs to be, that it's part of the pitching, right? It's part of the unique selling proposition that you're pitching.
That's funny, Wayne. Sorry, Hernan, I was listening, but that's just that's just funny. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. All right, we're gonna keep moving. What do you use to check site speed? Is Google's tool okay? No, apparently Clint Butler, he's a MasterMind member and he does a ton of website speed stuff. And apparently their Google tool's useless. I never used it much, anyways. I use GT metrics when I did a lot of website speed stuff, and I still occasionally will go, like, I just go in and test stuff occasionally now, but there's another one called Pingdom. I think pingdom.com, I think, is another one that you can check site speed with. Any of you guys have any specific recommendations?
I use those two as well.
Okay.
Pingdom and GT metrics.
Yep. I did some training, like, I think in 2013. It's on my YouTube channel. On how to improve site speed. And then there was a follow-up video to that on how to use Amazon CloudFront as your CDN, content delivery network. And it's using the W3 Total Cache plugin. It's a combination of the W3 Total Cache plugin, the settings for that, as well as Amazon CloudFront, that works amazingly well. It's geeky to set up. That's why I had to do a video on it and like step-by-step like working procedure or standard operating procedure of how to do it. All that stuff is on my channel. You can do a search for it, youtube.com/Bradley Benner, and search my channel. You'll probably be able to find it. If not, probably search Google and find it. However, I haven't updated that training since 2013. So some of the stuff for like Amazon CloudFront may have changed, and I'm not planning on going in and updating it anytime soon. But that I've been able to take sites that were getting in the 30s, like what you're talking about, and boost them all the way up into the 90+ range. As far as like the scores from GT metrics, just by doing exactly what I show in that video. It works amazingly well. So, but again, it's a bit geeky to set up. So it's up to you, Mohammed, if it's something you want to tackle. I would recommend that you maybe just find somebody that can do that for you, that's really proficient in it, because it's something that it's going to take a while to learn how to do, like to do it properly. Unless somebody knows of some cheats or hacks. I know Clint Butler, again, he's always got some really good information on how to speed sites up. So you're in the mastermind right now, Mohammed. I would definitely get with him. Do a search in the Facebook post. You might be able to find some info in there that you can glean too.
I would recommend Dr. Gary also, either Clint or Dr. Gary Kerwin.
There you go.
They're both really good at page speed. And as far as Pingdom goes, there's a problem usually with one of the servers. I forget which one it is. So I prefer GT metrics over Pingdom.
Okay. Mohammed, last statement really, or question is, I took the free trial of MasterMind and it's cool, so I think I'm going to stay. I just want to make sure, is there any limit to how many questions I can ask? No, Mohammed, there's not. Either in the webinars or the group. I don't want to seem spammy, if that makes sense. Well, I appreciate that, but no, that's part of the point with the MasterMind, guys, is to have direct access to us and also to all the other members. So we welcome the questions, okay? Feel free. Yeah. Okay, Madeline's up. Says, hey guys, with reference to Map Embeds, can we use Google MyMaps or only GMB embeds? Thanks for all you've done this year and keep rocking. You can do either, Madeline. You can do either. You should be doing both, really. Marco, you want to comment on that?
Absolutely. Just don't go crazy.
Okay.
Just don't go crazy. Slow and easy, and if you need more, you can always do more. You can't take away. If you bomb it and it starts dancing like crazy for months, there's nothing that you can do except wait. But if you take it nice and easy, you do some embed, see how it reacts. You do some more if it needs more. And yeah, absolutely, both.
Yep. And just so you know, I think we talked about this last week or something, but you know, with Maps Embeds, guys, I usually do something really small, like what Marco just mentioned. I start off with like maybe 25 or 30 embeds, and then I wait. And I wait for a few weeks, just like literally 2 or 3 weeks to see. And I put them on drip too. So it's usually dripped out over like 2 weeks. And then, you know, I wait an additional week or two beyond the time that, so usually it's 3 to 4 weeks from the date that I order. Okay. From that I order the Maps Embeds, that I'll go monitor the results and take a look and say, okay, I need some more embeds. And I do it very, very slowly. It's not like a video where even videos, guys, I do the embed stuff. I drip it out. I just don't hammer it with I don't throw everything that we have at it, you know, right out of the gate, because to me, that's ridiculous. It's overkill a lot of the times. And second of all, if you throw everything you have, and I know that's not what you were asking, Madeline, but I'm just saying for the benefit of everybody else, if you throw all of your ammunition, right, your entire arsenal at something right off the bat, and it doesn't get to the results that you want, then what do? You know what I mean? Like you don't have anything left. And so I always try to like just nudge it along with just as minimal amount of work as possible. And I just kind of keep adding to what I've already done until I start to see movement or results. And in that way, I still have a lot of stuff in reserve in case I need it down the road, right? So go slow, let them drip out, monitor your results. RL Sanders is up. I know it's been mentioned that we don't need unique content as part of a Google site. Can we use spun? Well, it depends, RL. Before I get on the rest of the question, it really depends. Like if you were going to be trying to rank a Google site for like a money site, like a property to generate leads and things like that, I would recommend that you set up the site so that it'll convert, which means don't use shitty content, right? Make sure it's good content, the layout looks nice, that kind of stuff. Like my SEO Virginia example, that was never set up really to generate leads. I do get leads from that, but it's really an atrocious looking site. And I haven't ever wanted to go back in and update the site to make it look pretty and all that stuff, because I'm afraid it's going to affect its ranking. To be honest with you, I don't know if it will or not. I just don't want to mess with it. But you know, it was really just it was an experiment that's been holding strong since May of 2015. And so I didn't want to mess with it. But my point is if I was going to use that same strategy to rank sites for leads for, you know, another industry or whatever, I would make sure that the site was built really well and set up for conversions. It would look nice. It would have good content, right? And the new Google sites you can actually make look incredibly good. The old ones you could only do so much with. Okay, so that said, I would say if you're using Google Sites as link building, like a public link network instead of a private blog network, it's because they're public, right? If you're going to be using them for link building, then I would say yes, you can get away with using pretty much any kind of content you want. Okay, can we use spun content for tier 2 links? Well, you can, but it depends on, like, I would recommend that it depends on what your target URL is going to be on tier 1, right? So like your tier 2 links are building links to tier 1 properties. What are your tier 1 properties that you're linking to, right? If it's like another Google site or something like that, yeah, sure, it's fine. A drive stack, that's fine. There's certain things there's some things that I wouldn't want to link to. Like do follow links directly from a tier 1 property to my money site if I'm using spammy content and stuff like that. You just got to be careful, man. You got to like know. I know, Marco, I don't know how far out you saw, but Google is looking beyond 2 hops away from the money site now, correct?
Yeah, absolutely, because we use iframes, and Google tunnels right through the iframe, and it goes each hop. So it's able to determine each hop, however far out that iframe resides.
Yeah. Okay. So that said, yeah, I mean, I would just recommend that if you're going to be using crappy spun content on Google sites as link building tools, then just make sure that you're selecting properties on tier 1 that you're going to be linking to that are really, really powerful properties that can handle that sort of spam, like Yelp or Facebook or something like that. Does that make sense? All right.
Yeah, but okay, Drive, all of those documents and everything that you do in Drive, images and whatever, and the G site, they'll rank. So why put crappy content? The more quality that you add, the better it is for your overall rankings, and the better it'll convert. So hire someone, spend a little bit more time on CTAs, place the phone number, if there's a phone number involved, or wherever it is that you want them to go. Make it look good so that people who, when it does rank and people see it, they'll click on it.
Yeah. Are there any problems getting this content to index? No, except that sometimes Google sites are weird in that they index and then they fall out and then they come back, and you just got to be patient with Google sites. I'm not sure why that is, but they do that a lot. So don't sweat it. What I would do is just once you've got content on there, you know, go send them through an indexer. We've got an indexer in SerpSpace where we guarantee, I think, what, 60% indexing rate. It's a guaranteed indexing rate, which is crazy, but we've got, you know, an indexer there. There's so many indexing services. You could submit them manually using the the URL submitter. I wouldn't do a whole bunch of them in one day, but you can do that as well. And then just keep in mind, just be patient with Google sites. A lot of times they bounce in and out, and I'm not sure why, but then eventually they come back and they pretty much stick after that. Okay, good question though. Scott says, will SerpSpace be offering a traffic program similar to CrowdSearch anytime soon? Yes. I'm not going to say when though, because we've run into a lot of bugs with it. It's been an enormous amount of development, and that's why it has not been released sooner, Scott, to the MasterMind members, because we're still working out bugs, but it is certainly still in development. And by the way, there was a bunch of people that I spoke with about this at the SEO Rockstars event, and I haven't even reached out to them yet, only because it's not ready yet. It's not ready to bring testers in because we've identified issues that need to be resolved. So that's what we're working on. So stand by, Scott. I know it sucks. We were hoping to have this out months ago, but the reason why it's not out yet is because it's not to where we want it to be yet. When we do launch it, it's going to be the best out there, or we just won't launch it at all. And so that's what we're trying to figure out now. Okay, Scott, appreciate you being patient there. What's up, Sam? He was also in Portland. Scott and Sam both were. Hey, guys, Happy New Year, and thanks for the help in 2017. I have a site that's using post names for permalink structure, so I can't quite do the silo structure you teach. Yeah, you can, Sam. Yeah, you can, because you can still create silos, do all of your category. You can do parent pages, child pages, top-level categories, child categories, or subcategories, I guess they're called, and posts. You can do all of that, even though it doesn't show in the URL, doesn't matter. So you're talking about the category / post name permalink structure in WordPress. That's just so that you can see the silo structure in the URL. You can still build out a silo using just the post name permalink structure, and that's called a virtual silo, because all the internal linking is what actually creates the silo, and the way that you stack pages, categories, and posts makes the silo. It doesn't have to show in the URL. In fact, there's a case to be made and not showing it in the URL. You know what I mean? Because it makes the URLs cleaner and shorter. So again, and we've tested. I haven't done a specific test on this in over 2 years now, but I have done it in the past. And as far as I know from other members and stuff, it's still absolutely valid. A virtual silo will rank just as well as a physical silo. The only reason why I like to use I've always used the physical silo where possible is because I liked how logical the URLs look when you could see the hierarchy in the actual URL itself. But it's not necessary. You can still gain the same SEO benefit using just the permalink, the post name permalink structure without it showing in the URL. Okay. By the way, Bruce Clay had an article from years ago about silo structure that is still valid today, and that's where it talks about. See, I wonder if that's it or not. Anyways, you could find it in here. It's one of these, probably one of these 4, but it's a article about silo structure. It's got like this one. It's this one. It's the right one right at the top. So bruceclay.com/SEO/silo. This one is a article that talks about how to do virtual silos and such. And this is like basically where I learned how to silo from, was this article here. I just implemented what I learned in this article and started testing, and it's a great article, great post, and it's several years old now. Wonder if it has a date on here. Anyways, it's an old post. It's been around since I think 2012, or maybe even before that. I think I was introduced to it around 2012. So
we also have 2 videos in our YouTube channel. Simple
silos,
I
think that's what he's talking about.
Silos.
I think that's what Sam's talking about, Marco, because I showed to use the physical or the category post name structure. But I think that's where, Sam, you might be getting caught up. You can still do it without showing it in the URL is what I'm saying. All right, guys, we're almost out of time. I'd like to get a couple more questions. Yeah, thanks, Wayne. Somebody doesn't want their one-on. Wayne, you and I can chat anytime you want, buddy. You don't need to take the $1 trial for that. Ralph says, hey, guys, how can I tell if a site has been penalized by Google? Do a search. Do a search. Well, you should be able to know if it's indexed or not, right? Because you can do like info : and then type so like say your domain is domain.com, you would do info : domain.com. So go to google.com and do info : domain.com, and your homepage, the homepage should show as indexed. If it doesn't, then you're de-indexed. Also, if your site is connected to Search Console, formerly Webmaster Tools, you should be able to see under manual actions if there was a manual action taken. Doesn't mean that you can't be penalized without a manual action, because that can happen too if it's algorithmic. Something else you can do is just do a search without the info : operator. Do a search on just the domain name. So go to google.com and search the domain name, not the full URL, but just the domain name, because it should be the first domain or the first listing that shows up in the search results if it's not penalized. If you search for a domain name and it's got a website on it, it should be the first thing that shows in the search results, because you're searching specifically for that domain name. If there are other things between it, like in other words, if there's other domains, other listings above that domain, when you search specifically for that domain, it means that there is an algorithmic penalty applied to it. Does that make sense? That's one way to check it. So first check that it's indexed. Once you verified that it's indexed, search the domain name. And if it's not the first listing that comes up, it means that it has been penalized algorithmically. It could be manual too. Again, check Search Console. It'll let you know. Anybody who have a comment on that?
No, I think that those options are pretty much what's there.
All right. Last question, guys, and we're going to wrap it up. Yeah, Daniel says Bruce Clay's been advocating strict silo structure since the late 1990s. Yeah, Daniel, you're probably that article could even be that old. I don't even know. I just know when I first got introduced to it, I think it was 2012, and that's still valid today. That article. So thank you for that. Oh man, we're up. We got all the damn questions. Last one then. Vitali says, do you think that embedding Google Doc via the Google short URL to around 1000 Web 2.0 spammy content can lead to suspension of a Google account? It happened, and I'm trying to figure the reason. Did not do anything else with that account. Yeah, that may be it, Vitali. Marco, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, he didn't embed the Google Doc. He submitted the Google shortened URL to 1000 Web 2.0. If he had just iframed the document with the Google link, I don't think he would have had a problem, because we never had a problem. Yeah. I mean, we've done some real garbage with this stuff. So I'm thinking he's getting names mixed up, because you don't embed the Google shortened URL. You can't, right? You can only submit. You can put it in those spammy Web 2.0s. But if you had just iframed the Google Doc, I don't think he would have had any issues.
Yeah, and here's the thing, real quick. I've used my Google short URLs and for video SEO stuff where I've taken a YouTube URL and shortened it with Google, right? The Google shortener, and then went and bought a retweet gig. Well, I'm sorry, and then tweeted that Google short URL, which ends up showing the embed, the video embed in the tweet. And then you'd get retweet gig like SEO Clerks or Fiverr or something like that, and get like 25,000 retweet gig. And every single time that tweet is retweeted, it counts as a hit on that Google short URL. So if you go look, if you create a Google short URL through your account or through any profile account, you can go look at analytics for that short URL and see clicks, devices, locations, all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's part of the reason why Google short URLs, Google URL shortener can be used very strategically, because it basically injects Google Analytics into any link stream that you shorten with it. If that makes sense. And so what's interesting is if you go do that, shorten a YouTube URL, tweet it, or it doesn't have to be YouTube, you could shorten any URL, but go tweet that URL and then do a shit ton of retweets. You'll see that those all count as hits. Just the retweet itself, whether it was actually clicked on or not, it's the posting of that URL that counts as a hit. And I used to do that a lot for video SEO stuff. Haven't done it in quite some time, but I did an entire video about that very specifically. It should be on our Semantic Mastery channel if you'd like to take a look at it. I think it's social referral traffic. Video SEO with social referral traffic or something like that. If you search that on our channel, you guys should be able to see a video I did with Jason Johnson. that was like an hour long about specifically that method. It should still be valid today. I haven't tested it in probably well over a year now, but it used to work really well. And it's interesting because the Google short URLs didn't get, like, I did that with my own account, which was spammy as hell. And my account didn't get suspended, thank God. You know what I mean? But I don't recommend doing that stuff with your main account. Use persona accounts for that. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks. Sorry, John. John, he just joined our. By the way, John, I just emailed you today to set up our mastermind call. So please check your email and reply to me so we can get that scheduled. Okay, guys, we don't have any more time for other questions. I really apologize, John, but since you're in the mastermind, at least temporarily, unless you decide to stay, which we certainly hope you do, you can post this question in there and we'll get to it. All right.
And guys, the T-shirt, Andy T.
Andy T.
The second question, yeah.
Let me scroll down here. Oh, all right, cool. So that was about the PR stacking technique. So Andy, if you want the free T-shirt, like I was showing earlier, just send an email to support, send a screenshot of the question you asked so we know it's you. And obviously we'll be able to weed out other people who send in screenshots. But contact us at support@semanticmastery.com and I'll get you a T-shirt shipped out later this week.
Sweet. It's awesome.
Cool.
Well, guys, mastermind webinar tomorrow. Everybody else, we'll see you next year. So
see you next year, everybody.
Woo!
Thanks, guys. 2017 was awesome for us. We're looking to make 2018 even better. But again, we certainly appreciate you guys that attend Hump Day Hangouts and participate every week. It's a labor of love for me, and I know I speak for my partners as well. We really, truly enjoy Hump Day Hangouts. That's why we've been doing it for over 3 years. We plan to do it for many more years to come. So please continue to join us and engage with us, guys, and we'll be happy to be here every week. So thanks, guys. Appreciate your help today.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.